Some of the examples on your paper are already done, but find example number 2. The sum of two consecutive integers is less than 45. Find the pair of integers with the greatest sum. So let's make sure that we know these words first. Consecutive means one right after, oops, squeeze it in here, one right after the other. Right, so a lot of times like sports teams will talk about having 3 consecutive wins. It means 3 in a row with no losers in the middle. Okay, so consecutive means one right after the other. And remember, integers is no decimals or fractions. And so examples of consecutive integers are like 3, 4. Those are consecutive integers, right? They're numbers, they're no decimals or fractions, and they're numbers right in a row. 6, 7 are consecutive integers. 31 and 32 are consecutive integers. So that's what a consecutive integer, that's what that means. And then sum, this means add. This means when I add two numbers together. So when I add two consecutive integers together, so like here it would be like 3 plus 4, right? That would be 7. This would be 6 plus 7. That would be 13. This would be 31 plus 32. That would be 63. Okay? So this is saying the sum of two consecutive integers is less than 45. Find the pair of integers with the greatest sum. Okay, so there's a few ways to do this, but the way we're going to do it is we're going to write an inequality. And so let's talk about how you can do it. So let's choose a number. Let's call it x. X is going to be the first integer. Okay, so like right, this would be x, 3 would be x, or 6 would be x, or 31 would be x. So then how would I describe 4 or 7 or 32? Well, let's see, how could I get from 3 to 4, from 6 to 7, from 31 to 32? Well, it's just one forward, right? So I would just take this x and I would add 1 to get to 4. I would add 1 to get to 7. I would add 1 to get to 32. So x plus 1 is going to be our second integer. Right? So these are my two integers, x and x plus 1. Okay? And here's what I know. The sum of those two integers is less than 45. So let's write that. Right? The sum of these two integers, so I'm going to add x and x plus 1, right? Because it's a sum. So I'm going to write x plus x plus 1. Right? That's the sum of the two integers. This is one integer, two integers. Is less than, that's this symbol, is less than 45. Cool, let's solve it. These are like terms. This is 1x plus 1x is 2x. Subtract 1. I get 2x is less than 44. I'm going to divide by 2. Divide by 2. I get x is less than 22. Okay, so the conclusion I've come to is that x is less than 22. So, and this is important because this less than sign is important. So let's say I said, okay, well, the first integer is 22, right? And I said, okay, that's first integer is 22. That would make the second integer 23. And let's add those up. Well, what do I get? I get 45. So this is actually wrong. Why is it wrong? Because they're supposed to be less than 45. So the mistake that I made is, look, this is x is less than 22. So I needed to choose an integer that was less than 22, right? Now, I'm still looking for the greatest sum, so I don't want to just choose like 4, right? I want to choose the largest integer that's less than 22. So that would be 21. And then that would make the other integer, right? If my first integer is 21, that would make my second integer 22. And when I add those together, I get 43. And that's perfect. That's less than 45. So that's fine. So let's write my integers are 21 and 22. Okay, that's that one. You're going to do this problem on your own. Go ahead and find example number 3. Again, you have some examples done, but example number 3 is not done, so please find that one. Example number 3. A rectangle is 7 feet longer than it is wide. Its perimeter is 34. Find the length and width. Okay, let's sketch this. So in a rectangle, right, we have the length is the longer side, and the width. So a rectangle is 7 feet longer than it is wide. Let's do this. Let's call the width, let's call it W. Right, this length is W, right? It's the same as this length. So if that's W, what's this length going to be? Well, let's see. It's 7 feet longer than it is wide. So whatever this number is, it's going to be 7 feet more. So let's write that as W plus 7. Right now, what's great about writing it like this is we only have one variable, right? Instead of having a W and an L, I don't know what I'm going to do if I have two variables. I just have one variable, a W. Okay. Now, perimeter means distance around the whole rectangle. And there's actually a formula for it. You might know the formula, but if you don't know the formula, you could still figure it out, because basically perimeter is you add up, right? This side, this side, this side, this side. And if you notice, when you add it up, what you'll be adding up is the width 2 times, right? There's 2 widths when you add it up, and there's 2 lengths. So when you go to have the perimeter, you write it like this: 2 times the length, right? The L is for length. This is a cursive L. So it's 2, right? That's this and this. And then plus 2 times the width, and that's what equals the perimeter of any rectangle. Okay, so this is sort of a formula. You may have memorized it in middle school, but regardless, you could figure it out, right? That if I want the perimeter, I'd have to get this width, and then this length and this length. So let's figure out what we know. We know the perimeter is 34. Okay, so let's, instead of writing P, let's write 34. And we actually know what the length and width are too, sort of, right? We know this is the length and this is the width. So I'm going to write 2, and instead of length, I'm going to write W plus 7. And then the width, I'm going to keep W. And now we have an equation. We know how to solve equations. We can do this. Remember what we do? We distribute first. So I have 2W plus 14 plus 2W equals 34. Next, I combine like terms. So I have 4W plus 14 equals 34. I'm going to get rid of the constant, right? So this is minus 14. I'm running out of space a little bit here. I have 4W equals 20. Let's just continue right here. I'm going to divide by 4, and I get W equals 5. So that's my width is 5. So let's fill that in. Let's write this is 5. Okay. And then this is 5 plus 7, which is 12. So that makes this is 5, 12, 5, 12. So let's check. If I add up the perimeter, is it 34? So it will be 5 plus 12 plus 5 plus 12. Let's do the math real quick. 5 plus 12 is 17. Plus 5 is 22. Plus 12 is 34. Is that what I want it to be? 34? Yep. Perfect. So let's write the answer. And we can just do it like this. Width equals 5, and length equals 7. And I want to be clear, you have to write this, like this, and box it. Oh, sorry, not 7. My bad, not 7. Okay, it's W plus 7, it's 12. Okay, you have to do this last step of actually writing the answer and box it. If you just have all this work and you sort of like written it over here, that doesn't count, right? You have to answer the question, find its length and width. Okay, and then you'll do problem 3 for homework.